Hi, I'm divorce and family law attorney Kyle Scoresby. This video is going to give a brief explanation of the differences between community property and separate property. Arizona is a community property state. That generally means that everything acquired during the marriage is community property and subject to an equal division when the parties divorce. So community property, a simple definition of it is it's everything acquired during the marriage except gifts or inheritances. That's the easy way to look at it. Separate property is anything acquired during the marriage by gift or by inheritance. Separate property also includes assets that are brought into the marriage. Sometimes assets are mixed, part community property, part separate property. A very common example of this is a 401k. Let's say someone is working at Intel before they marry, and they have $100,000 in their 401k. That $100,000 after they get married does not become community property. That $100,000 remains that spouse's separate property, in addition to all the growth on that $100,000 that occurs during the marriage. Growth or losses, depending on what the market does. Another asset that's a little tricky is a house that's owned before the marriage by one spouse in their sole name. As long as they keep that house in their sole name during the marriage, it will remain their separate property. But if mortgage payments are made on that house that increase the equity in the house, if improvements are made, maybe the parties work and earn money and put in a pool during their marriage, and that adds value to the home, that added value creates a claim by the spouse whose name is not on the asset against the spouse whose name is on the asset. You can get some claim for reimbursement for that added value that occurs during the marriage. In the divorce, it's important to categorize, first of all, assets as community property or separate property. Then you have to value the assets using account statements or appraisals. Finally, the community property gets divided substantially equally. The separate property is just affirmed or allocated to the spouse who either owned that property before the marriage or who received the gift or inheritance during the marriage. If you have a question about community property and separate property, please come into my office to discuss that.